So hello everybody, welcome here at our beloved chapel. It is actually pretty windy here.
Yeah.
And so you'll hear it in spite of the, what they call that, the dead cat for a reason, I don't know. It's a hairy, so it should protect us from the wind. Or not protect us, but to protect the sound from the wind. But anyways, the wind you will hear. And it may very well be a little bit symbolic because you clicked on this video probably to hear the Schubert Erlkönig, and you're going to hear the Schubert Erlkönig sung together with Alberto at the piano. But there is a story before and there's a story behind the recording. So to start with, first things first, when I recorded Schubert's Erlkönig in the transcription on the piano, that was still on the Frenzel. It's more over a year ago, I think, right now. So of course, in the debate we have on tempi, the question was raised like, yeah, but you cannot sing this. If a singer would sing this, he would immediately die from suffocation. Yeah.
Lack of breath.
So basically, what we are trying to do since then is find a singer to sing it with us. And so Alberto actually found a singer, and you didn't plan to record it, but tell us a little bit about how this recording was made.
Okay, so maybe I should start from the first meeting with this guy. So one of our supporters is actually a singer, and we decided to meet and get to know each other. So he visited me, and one day we decided to, just have some fun at the piano, me playing, him singing, and we decided to try some stuff out. And one of those pieces was actually the Erlkönig, and we met because of the channel, and we were interested in experimenting with the historical tempi. And we just sight-read the Erlkönig with the tempo indicated by Czerny, right?
No, Schubert.
Schubert himself, so 152.
Schubert didn't leave that many metronome marks, but for some of his songs he did. So we are not going to name or call the singer by name for reasons we're going to explain later and after listening to the recording. But before we press the play button, Alberto, the singer was already on board with the WBMP, yeah?
Absolutely. And
what kind of reasons did he have, or when you met, what were the reasons that he gave?
So the main reason was so the guy had already experimented with this tempi on his own, and he actually told me like, singing at this tempi is actually, it feels great because I have time to breathe. So it's totally the
sorry. The Empire Strikes Back.
So this was a sign, guys. So it's completely the reversed argument of what we constantly hear and read on the comments on the channel, which is if you sing that slowly, you die from lack of breath. And this guy comes and says, no, look, it's actually the opposite. I have the time to breathe. So, and it's powerful, and you guys will hear in the recording that this singer, there's something natural about the way he's singing, and it doesn't sound like he needs to push the tempo. So of course that comes with a lot of technique. It's not that you improvise that. I mean, you need to be a professional singer to do that. But
do you think so in this case? Because it's not in the Erlkönig, it's not that extreme actually.
It's not that extreme, yeah, but it just works. I don't know what he did, but it doesn't sound, you guys will hear that it doesn't sound like he's forcing himself to that tempo. It sounds just very, very natural.
Incredible. So are we going to let you listen to the recording, but first I want to say you didn't mention that you actually, because you had so much fun, you took your phone and you just recorded a WhatsApp message for Lorenz and for me. And that's actually the recording you're about to hear. So it's not the studio recording. It's not the quality of sound that you're used to get from listening to our channel. It's just a WhatsApp recording that's made with Alberto's phone, not with the intention actually to have it on the channel, but there are reasons that we'll bring this to you.
It's totally a side reading session, so you will hear page turnings. We will stop sometimes maybe. And of course some wrong notes, but the idea is to let you guys experience what the singer does when he's actually applying the historical tempi.
And so last word before the recording, sight reading, as if this piece was composed for the use in the little rooms with musicians that wanted to enjoy themselves. So here you have it, Alberto and the anonymous singer with the Erlkönig of Schubert in Holby Temple.
Enjoy. Okay, be prepared. Okay, let's go. Hopefully this time I have all pages. Okay, let's go.
Ich seh es genau, es schreien die alten Weiden so laut. Ich lebe ich weiß keine schöne Gestalt und nicht, oh nicht will ich, so brauch ich Gewalt. Mein Vater, jetzt das mich an. In seinen Armen das Kind war tot.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So I hope you enjoyed this recording, and of course, if you're used to hear it in a different way, I can imagine this is a little bit of a shock. But I mean, just look behind you. There is a different reality, and honestly, I mean, I'm not the person to say this, but there's nothing forced. There's nothing unnatural in this recording. It's pretty natural, and so. Now comes the question, of course, why do we have to serve you a WhatsApp recording or a recording that's just made in a site or in a practicing session, not even practicing session? And it's not that we didn't ask the singer to come over to record this stuff. Alberto, can you give us a little bit of, you know, the story, what happened after this recording? Because of course, Lorenz and I were like super happy.
Yeah.
Every time a musician comes aboard, guys, I'm happy. We need you musicians there to just have a little bit of fun making music with us, but also helping the case for the WBMP. So there you have a singer who happens to be a wonderful singer, and you can imagine that I asked him to come to Belgium to make some more Schubert recordings, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, so when I talked to this guy, you know, he's a very kind personality, and he didn't want to expose himself too much, because, you know, if you are familiar with what we do on this channel, you also know there is musicians that come on board need to be a little bit, how do you say, immune, so to say, to the enormous pressure that there is from.
How did he communicate that with you? I mean, obviously you asked him to come over to make recordings, and what did he concretely? What did he say? What kept him from coming on board with this recording? I know he had some career shifts. We shouldn't talk about that. Also, that played a role, but specifically towards, you know, the comments and the pressure that it's on people not to do this.
Well, he didn't really made a point, but you know, like, you can understand it from a few words that a person says, and the guy was like, yes, I would like, but there's that but related to the pressure that there is on the channel, so which definitely requires
and it's not only on the channel, if I may say so, because people sometimes think that, and it's normal to social media, that there's a life on its own. So the discussion on the channel, I know we have moderators that take care of. You have to behave like an adult when you come into comment section of my channel, and otherwise you're out. There's no room for insults. You can doubt, but you cannot troll people. I mean, there's not a place there to troll, to insult, whatever. You have to behave like a normal human adult being. And otherwise you're out. But guys, this isn't, of course, the real world. The real world is there in the conservatories, in the organizations, in the conductors of orchestras who pick up the phone and they have a register of numbers that they can call for future concerts. That's where the real problem starts. And it's not that we don't have a lot of musicians that are there knocking on my door to come over and to just record stuff. It's the pressure of the system. And now you have to understand, and it's something I cannot understand. You can say, okay, but Wim, we all know what you're doing is just nonsense. There is nothing there. There is no historical evidence. The pendulum was never used as a full swing device to indicate tempo. It's all nonsense, and although we haven't ever read one book that you recommend, we know it. It's just not true. Okay, granted, all of that is true. I am just an idiot that just for his sick pleasure experiments with music in a different way. And so if a musician would want to come over and make a fool out of him or herself just to make fun with whatever, even that wouldn't be possible, because just stepping up and say, hey, I want to experiment with you, because let's bring it back to a serious level. That's why we do. We just experience with something that in the ground you cannot even say is not an option. I mean, taking 2 ticks for 1 note value is definitely an option. It's still how physicians today just count the pendulum. It's just a fact. Now you can say it's all not a fact, but then we are not talking to each other in the same universe. But just coming over and saying to the world, hey guys, I might not be that serious, but I just want to give this a try. That's not even possible today.
No, it's not possible, because especially musicians who have a position.
That's it.
They have something to. They feel they have something to lose if they do this, and also it always appears as if you try something, it's like you are taking a position, and you are kind of expected to maintain that position. It's almost like politics, like you cannot share any ideas that are common with the other side, because otherwise you are immediately labeled as somebody that it's like a group thinking and like social belonging, if we
in
can
a way,
say
you said it a little bit more nuanced than I was saying. Like, indeed, it's not that the system or the people who are in the system are preventing this. If the director of an orchestra or the conductor doesn't call you anymore because you would have participated with us, it's not that it would not happen anymore, but it just also they feel the pressure. And what you say, it's like politics.
Now, yes.
If you do this, it appears that you just joined another political party. And that's something that we have to think about, because it's not.
It is really not.
We are all in this together, and if you just happen to do things differently than we do, and there's a huge grass mower that is coming and is returning. But if you happen, he understood that we were making a video. If you come over and make music with us, it shouldn't be the end of a musical career. It's
Absolutely.
just a new chapter. It's just experimenting, because that's again the bottom point. People can say it's all nonsense, but the fact that this might very well be a solution that should be on the table, and after it's on the table, then we discuss, well, for that to be a solution, that's, by the way, not debatable. not debatable. The full swing of the pendulum is a thing. It really exists. It's also not true that there are no sources. There is a lot of things that point into this direction. Not to forget mention playability of pieces, like in this Erlkönig. We finally have.
Before discussing about solution, we have to be aware and have the courage to acknowledge that there is a problem to solve.
Also that, and then we will come back into other videos and discussions. But musicians will make the case, singers will make the case for the WBMP because it's not problematic. There are no problems when you sing in this way.
Like what this guy showed, it's perfectly in line with what Massimiliano brought up in his interview months ago, when he said there's no problem. It's always the reverse argument. The singers and the woodwind players have the time to manage their breathing.
Yeah.
Well, breathing, at least on this instrument, is not a problem. I can hold a long note. I mean, for example, the beginning of Fourth Symphony, it is supposed to be like 36 seconds.
Yeah, it's extreme. Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible with one shot breath, without over breathing, it's possible. If you play piano, then you do crescendo, diminuendo at the end. It's really possible. But by the way, I have to say that because of this new praxis, I try to find some elements in all clarinet methods.
Yeah.
And they were usually, split in slurs, breathing inside slurs.
Breathing under the bow,
and this is clearly marked in the method. So,
and also the long bow discussion. I'll come with some videos. I mean, if you dive into some sources in the 19th century, the bows were there indicating the melodic lines, but there were breathing signs under the bows in those treatises for singers, for string players, for woodwind players. It was a thing. You just breathed it under the bow. Is that correct? And then breathed it? Or you took a breath under a bow? Anyways,
Under the bow, yeah.
You get my point. And the last point I think important to bring up, I mean, it's maybe a pathetic question or way of putting it, but on which side of history do you want to be?
The one that solves problem.
Well, it's funny for me to see sometimes also on internet that the gatekeepers that are the protectors of the system, I would say, preventing people to come over. Primarily in this case, of course, it's the YouTube and the Reddit world of today. People read those comments, but the people who feed that negative narrative are the ones that would benefit the most from this. It are not the Lizitsas and the Polinis who are there.
They are defending this, exactly.
It are the people who are practicing 40 ling hours a day for never reaching that level, and they are preventing singers like him to come over and to enjoy this. And you know what I think about this, really? It's just a matter of time, because logic and truth has its rights.
Yeah.
Hearing this Erlkönig,
it really does.
It's just a practical demonstration of something that's based upon some logic.
Yeah.
It's an option. You can agree or not with the interpretation of the option, but it's an option, and that's just a matter of time, don't you think, before it becomes an accepted reality?
Absolutely. And guys, look, we can also discuss this forever, but we are trying to, it's not only about solving a metronome problem, but it's also trying to reconstruct an historical context, because it's never black and white, and there are many things that can be that fall in line. Many descriptions that you find about how musicians played in the past and how they approached music that can point to a certain direction, and that's it.
So basically we're saying, if you feel the wish or the desire to come over, especially as a singer, doors are open.
We already have two pianists, so we are here.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the Erlkönig, also the little rant that we had before and after. I mean, it was totally unorganized with a lot of wind, and it might be a very important message. There you have the Erlkönig sung in whole beat with a singer that is still alive and kicking. He's breathing. He's very healthy, and he didn't have any problem singing this while sight reading the piece.
So last recommendation for all of you, whenever you present the WBMP to anybody and they bring the topic of singers or woodwind players, just show this and I guess he speaks for himself, right?
End of discussion. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for being here on this journey with us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join our Patreon club with, I think, over 150 patrons now. So we have a strong community there supporting the things that we do, and we need you to continue on full speed.
We really need you guys.
Thanks for watching. See you soon again.
Bye.
Bye.